Hi, I'm Adam, and this is my Game of the Year list for 2015. Decided to do a video instead of a write-up just because, well, I'm lazy, number one. No, I don't know. I feel like the year that's been with games for 2015, it's been so weird because it's been such a great year for games, and I don't want anything to be lost on how I feel about the games that I've picked for my list because I don't know how to write properly. So I just wanted to make sure that I did this as a video instead, and hopefully I'm able to articulate my thoughts a lot better, and we'll just give it a go. We'll see what happens. So this is my list. Like I said, what a fantastic year. Like this year, I'm so surprised because leading into it, even in the middle of playing all the games, there's all this talk of this has been cancelled, that's been cancelled, and everything's coming out next year. And this is almost like a bit of a throwaway year, and it's absolutely not the case. Like it's I've probably played some of the games I've played this year are probably some of the best I've played in the last couple of years, and that's huge, that's massive. So let's just get straight into it. First of all, I've got some honorable mentions because, like I said, so many good games this year. I couldn't narrow down to just 10. So I've got a couple here that I just wanted to say, make note of, and recognize for being awesome for my time with them. Number one, Puzzle and Dragons on the 3DS. I pumped a lot of time into that game. Dropped off towards the end. I don't know. I think I just got what I wanted to get out of it. But what I did get out of it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. So, a great modern puzzle game. I didn't even touch the Mario side, to be honest. This is the Mario edition of the 3DS version, obviously. But I got everything I needed to get out of that puzzle side. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. Dying Light, which I forgot come out this year. That was a lot of fun. This is going back the start of this year, actually. So, ages ago. The single player left a little to be desired, but that's not why I played. I played it purely for the co-op multiplayer, and that was a hoot. That was an absolute blast. I loved it. It was really great. What else have I got here? Downwell, which I did a video on just recently. A bit of a sneaky one for me. I picked it up cheap and wasn't expecting much. I thought, it might be okay. And it's awesome. It's a fantastic game. Not much to be said about that. You just need to play it. It's cheap. It's awesome. It's great. Just Cause 3, which is a pretty recent one. I nearly put this on the list, but I feel like if I had played more of it, I probably would have put it on the list. But at the moment, it's sort of teetering on that. Is it good? Is it not good? It's very good. It's not bad, but there's certain parts of it that I don't like, but they're almost outweighed by the things I do. So it's a bit of a conflicting kind of game, that one. It's definitely worth mentioning, but and I am having fun with it. It's just, it's not quite up to scratch for my list. And the last one is a bit of a weird one. It's tabletop games. I discovered them this year for myself. I've never been a massive tabletop gamer, and just going to that last PAX in November, here in Australia, I just had this weird itch. I was like, I want to buy a game, a tabletop game. Me and my circle of friends, we had a bit of a dabble of some tabletop stuff the year before, and I was kind of interested from then. But something this year just sparked, and I was like, I need to check this out. I need to play something different. And since coming back, like it's been like a mini addiction for me, like buying new games and playing with friends. And there's a whole new world there that I didn't know existed. And I'm bummed I've only discovered it now at 35. Like, I could have been playing these types of games for years. So that's a bit of a, I guess, like a prelude to next year, what I'll be sort of really focusing on next year. So yeah, that's been a really big surprise for me, and absolutely worth mentioning. Not on my list, but it's worth mentioning. So there's my honorable mentions out of the way. Now I want to get straight into the top 10. Now, the bottom 5 I've kind of numbered. So we'll get through those first. Number 1, this is going to irk some people. Destiny: The Taken King is my number 10. And the reason it's number 10 is because technically it's not a game. It is, but it's not. I mean, the amount of hours I put into that game, the expansion, whatever you want to call it, over the course of the last couple of months has been very surprising. I had a weird urge to rebuy Destiny, The Taken King, after hearing a lot of people talk about it in very, very positive ways. And I did it, and I'm glad I did. But I mean, it is nowhere near the game it was last year. Like Destiny was one of those games I purchased a PS4, a next gen console, I should say, and not a PS4 in general. But I purchased a next gen console for that game. I was very hyped for it, and I don't know, it didn't deliver in the end. There wasn't enough. I mean, I'm not the Lone Ranger here. Like, this is something that has been mimicked by a lot of people. Like, that just didn't have the content. And then The Taken King comes along. It pretty much flips the scripts. It does that thing that Diablo 3 has, that evolving kind of gameplay where it sort of starts to become more fun and more interesting, and that's absolutely what it did. Better, they fix a lot of the loot dropping. I guess I don't know what you'd call it. It was just there's issues. There's a lot of that's been fixed. The missions are more fun. I mean, I still don't care about the story really, but I mean, at least what they're getting you to do in The Taken King is a lot more interesting. So absolutely deserves to be on the list, even if it's not exactly a game. I put in enough hours into that for it to be pretty much a full game. Number 9 on my list is Splatoon for Wii U. Another surprise game. I mean, I bought this game on the recommendation of, I think Nathan, actually, from Rant Theory. I think he bought it first and told me about it, and yeah, absolutely, that is exactly how it happened. And hearing him talk about it, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. And then we ended up playing, I bought it, and we ended up playing multiplayer together online. And I mean, for that type of competitive shooter to be on the Wii U and to have such a, I mean, there's people playing that game. Like, I don't know if it's Call of Duty levels. I don't play Call of Duty that much anymore. But there's a lot of people online playing that game. For it to draw that audience on the Wii U is an absolute feat. And I loved it. It's so much fun. I get super frustrated with it because I'm super competitive. But what it does for the competitive multiplayer genre is pretty special, because it's not just for people like me who do like playing shooters. I mean, kids can play this game. There's nothing graphic or over the top in it, apart from the colors and how Japanesey it is, which is awesome. But it's something that everyone can enjoy, and I think that's a pretty major accomplishment for Nintendo. And for it to not have Mario attached to it and it still be this popular is pretty awesome. So that is 100% on my list. I would rate it higher, but I mean, this list is getting pretty crowded. While I'm on the Wii U bandwagon, Mario Maker, absolutely 100% on my list as well. This should be higher. This absolutely should be higher on my list. It's at 8 at the moment. And this is purely because I didn't give it enough time to play more of it. I played a lot of it. I've done some levels, created some nightmares for some people, and it is just amazing what you can do for someone that grew up with this franchise. And to see it through to its 30th anniversary. I'm pretty sure it's 30th anniversary. Yes, it is. To get to the stage where it's now a fully, almost like Minecraft levels of creativity, to create these levels and stuff, is absolutely amazing. Like, I can't believe that we've got access to it. It's super cool. And I really enjoyed it, and I'll continue to play it and enjoy it. But there is other games that I've played this year that I played more, but it absolutely needs to be recognized as being one of the best games of this year for me, at least anyway. Let's see, 10, 8, 7. So number 7 on the list is a game called Duck Game, which coincidentally I'm wearing the shirt, probably can't see it, but So Duck Game, talk about a year of surprises. Duck Game, I saw on a video game website being played, and it's that competitive couch multiplayer style game, much in the same as like Samurai Gun, Nidhogg, and all that sort of thing, where the pace is just so frantic, and the things that this game gets you to do is just hilarious. I mean, it's all the levels all randomly generated. Weapons are randomly placed, so you don't guarantee to get the same weapons every time. You can go from a level that's massive, a huge, massive level that's sprawling with shotguns and sniper rifles and swords and all that sort of thing. And then once that round's over, the next round could be a level that's this big, where you barely all fit into the space, and there's nothing but grenades, which is just hilarious. It's the best. I've had so much fun playing this game this year with friends, and it sort of invokes that kind of the party game atmosphere that you really want out of a game, like a couch co-op game, and absolutely amazing game. I love it so much. It's coming to PS4 as well, which is cool, so it means more people are going to be playing it. It's fantastic. The only reason it's not higher is there's not as much depth, and I can't really play it by myself. I need to play it with friends. So, but super cool game, really, really good. Now the final game on my bottom 5 sounds bad. It's a top 10. So, but the last game on my bottom 5, so number 6, is Yoko Watch for 3DS, which I picked up a couple of weeks ago. This very nearly got into my top 5. You'll see why it didn't in a second, because the games that are occupying the top 5 are pretty amazing games. But this came a very, very close to hitting that top 5. So Yoko Watch has been something I've been interested in for a couple of years now. Seeing it be seeing it in Japan, like seeing merchandise and things like that. It just sort of, I was like, what the hell is this? It is everywhere. It's so popular. Like Pokemon levels of popular, that I just sort of was like, I need to know what this is. And obviously, like many things in Japan that are, things like Monster Hunter and stuff like that, we don't get it until later. So we're getting the first game this year. They've got like 2 or 3 games out in Japan that have been out for like the last couple of years. So our first Western taste of this game has been fantastic. It's been really cool. It is essentially a Pokemon game. I don't play Pokemon. I've always been interested in the series, but it's never grabbed me, and I don't know why, because it should. It seems like it's a lot of fun and all that sort of stuff, and I do like collecting games and things like that. But there's a certain I don't know what it is, but I mean, I was playing the Bloodborne expansion at the time this came out, and I was sort of hating life playing that, because I hadn't played Bloodborne for a while. Then coming back to the expansion, which is super hard, I needed something that was just simple, and something that was going to sort of hold me and tell me that everything was going to be all right. And Yoko Watch was that game. It was like, I think I described it to Nathan as it was like nuzzling into a soft pillow. Like the music's so quaint and easy to listen to. It's so cute. The characters' interactions are great. The characters themselves, like the yokai, are so well designed and got some really funny abilities, like what they can do. And it just got me at the right time. I needed something that was something that was not so much that it wasn't challenging. There's a very cool game in there. I really like the battling mechanic. It's cool. Like, it basically, it's like a micromanagement style. You can let off special abilities, but you've got to sort of perform certain things on the bottom touchscreen to make them happen. So you might have to pop bubbles, or you might have to spin or trace a shape or something like that. And then you got to manage your yokai in the battle. I'm not going to go into how it plays. That's the job of a review. All you need to know is that I mean, I played that. It came at just the right time. I'm still playing it now. It came at just the right time for it to really strike a chord with me, and I'm continuing to play it. I think it's a fantastic game, and it's so good to finally be able to see what the hell it's all about. And I started watching the show as well, and all that sort of thing. And it's cool. It's a really cool series. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do for the Western release of the second one, if we do get it, because supposedly the second one's even better. But so yeah, that's my number 6. That's really that's a pretty good bottom 5 if you really look at it. So now onto my top 5. Man, it's gonna be hard. I haven't actually numbered them. Like, I don't have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've got a top 5, and I'm just gonna go through them, and hopefully I can figure it out for myself what I feel is the best game for me this year. So in no particular order, I'm just gonna go through them. So the first one is Rocket League. And for those who don't know, this was a free PlayStation Plus game. So we got this for free on PlayStation 4. It's also available on PC. It's coming to Xbox One next year. And this sort of came out of nowhere for a lot of people. Probably not so much myself and Nathan and the likes of the Rant Theory crew, because it's the sequel to Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars, which anyone that follows Rant Theory knows that we had a little bit to do with that game, not to make it or anything, but we had a song that went onto that original game, so we kind of knew that game pretty well and all that sort of thing. So when they were developing the sequel, we've all been sort of following it reasonably well from a distance, we'll say, not like we've been studying it every day, refreshing the website, what's new. But when they said they were doing a sequel to it, we were very interested. But for everyone else, this game sort of come out of nowhere, I think, and it's done something for multiplayer sport games that no other game I feel like has, and that's brought it to a really mainstream wide audience. For me personally, because obviously this is my list, this is not for everyone else, but for me personally, like, I played a bit of Battle Cars, not a lot. I enjoyed it, but there were certain things that I didn't like as much that have been repaired in this new one. Like, it's just so much more accessible, so much easier to play. Obviously, given the fact there's a lot more people on PS4 than there was on PS3 to play online, really helps as well. But they did all the right things when they released this game. For starters, they released it for free, so everyone's going to have it. I think it was up to it might be 8 million people playing it now. Some ridiculous. It's crazy. But then they started releasing DLC for free or cheap. And I've enjoyed every scrap of content they've thrown at me. And I still continue to play it now. Like, I'll jump in and play games now and enjoy myself as much as I did the day I was playing it. It's just a really one of those. I can't say it's like a lightning in a bottle, but it's one of those games that sort of does something to a group of people, and I'll talk about the group of people being like everyone. It just sort of clicks. I don't know what it is. It's so easy to pick up and play. It's so gratifying when you score a goal or do a save, or the first time you're able to launch yourself in the air, as with your rocket trail and all that sort of thing. It's just it ticks all the boxes. Like, it's just an absolutely amazing game. And full disclosure, like, I've had a song in that game as well. Like, I got a song put in that one as well. So I've got a bit of a. I've got no stake in it at all, obviously, because it's just something I've been able to be a part of. But it's worth mentioning that working with those guys and not knowing them, but knowing them enough to sort of know what kind of people they are and all that sort of thing. I am a little bit kind of biased, so but it is absolutely not any knock on the game itself, because the game, these guys could be monsters. I wouldn't care. Like, the game's amazing, and I've enjoyed every minute of playing it. And once again, I'm continue to keep playing it now. So that's the first one of my top 5. Next one is Metal Gear Solid 5 or V, whatever you want to call it. The Phantom Pain. It's a Metal Gear game. Of course, it's going to be in my top 5. Like, Metal Gear since Solid on the PS1. Those games have been a huge part of my gaming history, I guess. Like, I've played every single one, let's put it that way. But I love Metal Gear. Metal Gear is one of those games that I just love. I still don't think I know what's going on in any of these games to this day. But does anyone? No, probably not. But this one did something that no other Metal Gear game has done, and that's made it probably more accessible and playable for everybody. And I mean, I would have been happy with it with an older style stealthy Metal Gear game, and it's still a stealthy game. You still play it in the same way, but they've made it more like, for lack of a better comparison, like a Far Cry, or where you can basically traverse your open world and clear out your control, your points, your outposts, and things like that. And you sort of get this like, it was like this continual progression, not just like, from here to here to here kind of thing. You could just jump in and just play it as an open world game if you want to. And I know Metal Gear games ever really done that before. And it fits really well, to the point where I'm surprised it's not been done sooner. There's just so much about that game to like. I mean, it looks amazing. The story is actually pretty good in this one, like as in you can follow it a bit better. Obviously the characters and all that sort of thing. Like there's really not much to say apart from the fact that I played it through to the end. I think I want to kind of platinum this game, and I don't say that much about any game. Like I'm pretty happy to just, I finished it, whatever. It was good. But there's so much more content in that game that I want to go back and see, and play, and it gets super hard as well. But that's a pretty massive highlight for this year, is having a new Metal Gear. That's always going to be on the list. Next one on my top 5 is Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. This is so I played a lot of 3, as in like the Australian release of 3 on the 3DS, and absolutely loved that. But what 4 Ultimate did, I mean, there seems to be a recurring theme here, is what 4 Ultimate did for Monster Hunter is almost like kind of what Rocket League did for multiplayer sports games. What Metal Gear did for open world Metal Gear games. But it's like an evolution to create, not an evolution. It's just it's made in a way that's more accessible. So, because I mean, the thing with Monster Hunter, they're flipping hard games. They're so hard. If you don't know what you're doing or how to play them or how to approach them, they are just the barrier to entry is insane. I would not have played Monster Hunter if I didn't have Nathan there to kind of guide me through and help me. But because of that, I know how to play them now. For you, there is still an element there of difficulty, obviously, but it's not impossible to break that initial barrier and start to really understand how that game works and what's expected of you. So that's really cool in itself. As far as my own personal take, it's just a better version of what I played for Monster Hunter 3. It looks better amazingly on the 3DS. It controls better. The added moves, like aerial attacks and things like that, add so much to the game. The new weapons are cool, like the charge. What is it now? Charge blade, charge axe. I can't remember now. It's been so long since I played it. It's like the start of the year. Anyway, that's my main weapon now, which is awesome. It's just fantastic. So, yeah, just a absolutely amazing game. And it's one of those games that whenever I talk about it with anybody, all I want to do is just go and play it straight away. So, super cool game. Next, second last game in my top 5 is Bloodborne, the PS4 exclusive. The reason I bought a PS4 and not an Xbox One, even though, I mean, it could easily go on either way. But as soon as I found out that Bloodborne was a PS4 exclusive, it was like, well, shit, I got to buy a PS4. It's as simple as that. I can't not be playing this game. For those who don't know, if you don't know, it'd be amazing if you didn't, because it's one of those games. It's like a continuation, sort of, from the Souls series, but not so much. It's the first game since Dark Souls 1 that Miyazaki, the creator of Dark Souls, has actually fronted. Dark Souls 2 wasn't technically his game, but it was still a From Software game. So Bloodborne was a huge game. It was high on my list of anticipated games for this year, and it didn't fail to disappoint. It didn't fail to impress, is what I was meant to say. Once again, it's like I'm saying the same things. It did for Souls games, what all these other games have done, and has made it more accessible, but it hasn't watered it down. It didn't water down the combat. It's still a fucking hard game. Like, there is some battles in that game I had. The one that stands out to me the most memorable boss fight I had that was just, even now thinking about it makes me angry, was Abriatus, which is an optional boss, but I wanted to beat it so bad, and I did finally after like what felt like 50 goes. But what happened when I beat him, that feeling of achievement, no other games have ever given this to me, except for maybe, Rocket League on the odd occasion where I've had to like play against two people when someone's dropped out, so it's 2 against 1. I'm by myself and I've actually won, which doesn't happen much, but when it does happen, it's pretty amazing. That sense of achievement you get from beating someone in Bloodborne, the same as you do in any Souls game, really. It can't be beaten. Like that is just such a special feeling. And obviously it's because of that whole stigma attached to Souls games being super hard. Is no one can beat them. They're impossible. They're not impossible. You just need to know how to approach them. And I'm by no means an expert. Like, I die as much as anybody in those games, but it's what drives you to the next part of that game is what makes those games so special. If you can see where it is that you're about to go, like if you know that if you can get past this boss, you're going to be taken to the next section of the game, and it's going to progress you further and further, and you start to build on that achievement, the feeling of achievement. There's no other games that really do it better than the Souls games, and Bloodborne is one of those games that absolutely did that for me this year. It was super cool to see a next gen Souls game too, like a proper next gen Souls style game, I should say. Sorry. So yeah, that was. It still is. Like I've like I mentioned earlier, I bought the expansion. It's unfortunately it's not really meshing with me at the moment. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's absolutely me. I'm just not in the right frame of mind to be playing that game at the moment. But like I can still pop that game on, and I'm in New Game Plus now, where it gets harder, which is just insane. And I can still play that now and enjoy it, and yeah, it was everything I wanted it to be, and a lot of stuff I didn't realize I wanted, like better mobility of my character, a more of a offensive style combat system. So there's no shield, like anyone knows the Souls games. It's very much a it's that type of game. You sort of. You're always so defensive, whereas Bloodborne, it rewarded you for being an offensive player and taking risks, and like to the point where if you took a hit, you took damage, you're able to gain some of that damage, some of that health back by going nuts and attacking enemies. Like, you got to be quick about it, but like that's an awesome mechanic. Like, that's really cool. So not only was it like a new Souls game, it did some things that were really interesting and new too. So now I'm talking about it like it may be pretty high on my list here, but absolutely Bloodborne, fantastic. Even now, can't wait to see what happens with a new one, or Dark Souls 3 even. And the final game on my top 5 is a bit of a weird one, but this game. The game that's on the top, it's on the top of my list, but I don't know if it's my number one. Puyo Tetris, which is a game I imported from Japan for the PS4. There is not a lick of English in this game. It is entirely in Japanese, and there's no way to change the language to English. So everything I played of this game is all based on what I've found online of people that have translated the menu and all that sort of thing. So everything I've played has been, I mean, it's weird because like I haven't even really played the whole game. Like I played a bit of the single player. There's like a quest kind of mode in it, but it's mainly the main hours, and I'm talking literal hours. Like I would hazard a guess and say 25 to 30 hours playing this game. It has been playing against a computer. Playing a mode where you're basically switching from Puyo, playing that for 30 seconds, and it's like a puzzle battle game. I should explain, because I mean, I can't assume that everyone knows what this game is, because it is only in Japan, this game. They tried to bring it out as something else. I think maybe Tetris Worlds or something like that, but it wasn't as good. So basically, it's a puzzle battle game. So much in the same way as like Puzzle League. Why am I drawing a blank? My goodness, Puzzle League, Puzzle Fighter. Those sorts of games. I don't have to go through the list, but some of my most favorite games of all time have been these types of games. And this is like shot up as being the best puzzle battle game I've ever played, which is huge. So basically, the main mode I played, I'll go back to what I was saying, was where randomly at the start of the game it decides what board you're playing. So you might start with Puyo, which is the one where you got to match up a bunch of 4 of the same color bubbles and basically create combos and all that sort of thing. You'll play 30 seconds of that, and then after 30 seconds it flips to the other side of the board, and now you're playing Tetris. And this happens the same on the other person's side. And then another 30 seconds it flips again, and it just keeps doing that. So you're constantly playing 2 different types of puzzle games in 30-second increments. And that to me is absolutely amazing. And it has created some of the most interesting battles I've played. And this is just against a computer. I'm not playing against anybody. I think I've gone online once, or I've watched an online game once, I think maybe. And some of the people playing this game are bonkers. Like, my God. Like, I'll never be this good. But that's the cool thing about it, is it's so diverse. Like, that's one mode. There is more modes in this game, but that's the one that I mainly play. There's one where you can get power-ups. There's one where you can play a mixture of Puyo Puyo and Tetris on the same board. So you'll get, like, say 3 Puyo Puyos and then a Tetris block. Look, just Google it. Like, jump on YouTube and check it out. Like, I'm not going to be able to explain it to enough detail to make you understand and appreciate how cool this game is. But that game was, I heard about it on another website, that it just sounded like this is something I need to be a part of, and I didn't hesitate. It was pretty flippin' expensive too. But it did something when I saw it being played. I was like, no, this is something I need to own. I need to have this game, and I do not regret it one bit. I've probably got my money's worth and then some out of it. So absolutely amazing game. And now I'm talking about this like it's probably going to be on the top of the list. Damn. This is what I'm talking about. What a year. What an amazing year. Like, that was my top 5, and I could have easily gotten as excited about my bottom 5 in the same way. So just to quickly go through it again, from the bottom of my list, I got The Taken King at number 10, Splatoon at number 9, Mario Maker at number 8, which I really feel like I should have put that higher, but anyway, it's done now. Duck Game at number 10, 9, 8, 7, and Yoko Watch at number 6. So that's my bottom 5. Like, what an amazing year of games. And my top 5 in no particular order so far: Rocket League, Metal Gear, I was going to say Mario Maker, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Bloodborne, and Puyo Puyo Tetris. Pretty sensational. I've got to come up with at least a number 1. If I can't, I've got 5 minutes here. I'm going to try and do 5 minutes and try and work out which one is going to be at least my top game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to order them. I'll try. So I was going to say Monster Hunter at 5, and even then I say that and I don't like it. It's between Monster Hunter and Rocket League at number 5 for me. I actually feel like they might be a joint 3 at this point. Which is stupid to say that. Oh my God, this sucks. Where's a coin? I don't have a coin. I'm just going to have to decide. Rocket League's at 5. That hurt. Monster Hunter's at 4. That hurt. The only reason I haven't rated Monster Hunter higher, as much as I love it, it's amazing, it is still Monster Hunter. It's more Monster Hunter. And now that I've said that, I'm going to put that at 5. And I'm going to put Rocket League at 4. That sucks. God, this sucks. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. There's still amazing games. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Fuck. All right, cool. Okay, so Monster Hunter's at 5. Rocket League's at 4. Metal Gear, Battleborn, Bloodborne, and Puyo Puyo Tetris are left in the top 3 spots here. I kind of feel like Bloodborne and Metal Gear are fighting it out for second. Honestly, Monster Hunter, Rocket League, I can't do it. I can't do it. It sucks. Metal Gear. I don't know if I like that. Metal Gear at 3. Bloodborne and Puyo Puyo Tetris. Because Puyo Puyo Tetris has done something that I've never seen before. This could be old hat for some other games that I've never heard of. But to me, fuck it. It's Bloodborne 2. Bloodborne is number 2. Puyo Puyo Tetris is my game of the year. I can't believe I'm saying this. Out of that list there, I mean, for me, it's all about originality, I guess. You know, like Puyo Puyo Tetris and Puyo Puyo Tetris is Puyo Puyo and Tetris. I mean, those are tried and true puzzle games, but they've been brought together in a way that just works so amazingly well. Bloodborne is a superb game, but I've played Souls games. I've played Dark Souls 1, I've played Dark Souls 2, and I adore those games and I adore Bloodborne. But there's something about Puyo Puyo Tetris that when I play it, it does something to me that just feels right. It feels comfortable. It feels like I could play that game for the rest of my life. You know, in a list of 5 other games maybe. But you know what I mean? Like I could have that as be my puzzle game of forever. That's a pretty big thing. Bloodborne, that wouldn't be my favorite Souls game. Dark Souls would be my favorite Souls game. But I mean, that's not to say that that's bad. It's just to say that, you know, it's number 2 on my list. It's not bad. I'm fully stressing about this. Like this is genuinely stressing me out. It doesn't help that I'm about to run out of time. So, to recap. My honorable mentions are Puzzle and Dragons, Just Cause 3, Downwell, Dying Light, and tabletop games. My number 10 is Destiny the Taken King. Then it's Splatoon, Mario Maker, Duck Game, Yokai Watch. My top 5 are, in exact order, Monster Hunter 4, Ultimate, Rocket League, Metal Gear 5, Bloodborne, and Puyo Puyo Tetris. And that is my game of the year. And that's my game of the year list. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Man, this year's going to be pretty hard to top. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to next year. We'll see what happens. I'm Adam. This has been my game of the year list, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much.